What is Zopa?
Zopa is, so you are offering me 500 million. I am saying I'm a billion. But maybe I'm willing to come down to 800 million.
The zone of possible agreement.
Maybe you're willing to go up to 600. So 600 to 800 is the zone of possible agreement.
How do you find that out?
Through questions, asking. Right. So for example, I'll say, no, but 500, is that your last thing? Can you go to your committee and check? Some of the person, okay, okay, I'll see what I can do. So matlab hai.
Scope hai.
No, this is my last thing, take it or leave it. Then also there might be posturing. So you have to, through conversation, explore, see what happens. That's how you try and do it. And typically these are more, Zopa is more for a deal where price is the main factor.
Then there's BAT now. What is BAT now?
Best alternative to a negotiated agreement.
Kya hota hai?
I'm at $1 billion. Ye VC is at 500 million. Shit, if I screw around with this person too much and they leave, what is my best alternative? Okay, my best alternative is there is somebody else at 400 million. Chalega. So then I can play around. I have no money. I have 2 months of cash in the bank. So if I know my BAT na, I'll wag my tail accordingly. So suppose I have only 2 months of cash. You may or may not know that as the VC. Then I'll take your 500 million. I'll say, thoda karo, 600 karo. I'll try all my tricks, but I'm not negotiating from a position of strength. But if I have somebody else at 500 or 400, then I'll negotiate from a position of strength. Right? So you have to know very clearly what is your best. You have to know also, by the way, as a VC, you might be looking at other deals. So if you have a very good BATNA and I have a very good BATNA, chance of a deal happening is less. But if one of us don't have a good BATNA, chance of a deal happening is higher.
Yeah.
For that, we need to know each other's BATNAs.
Give me one anecdote from your life, one story from your life where you have used any of the negotiation tactics which you have learned in Harvard Business School.
Oh my God. Look, I think so one specific story. So when I was...
where you either ended up winning negotiation or losing a negotiation, both works.
So a negotiation usually... the best negotiation, by the way, is a win-win negotiation.
Of course,
it's never win or lose.
It's win-win only when you think you've won.
So I'll give you this example. We had, what was their name? Naspers Invest, which is, now they call a different name, I'm forgetting the name. And this is a big South African fund. So they were investing. No, not Naspers.
Naspers. Okay.
Damn. How can I forget the name? Anyway, blanking. It'll come back to me. Arshu was the lead on that, and they were based in the Netherlands, and so they were to invest. Now they had something. So they wanted to put in a certain amount and get a certain stake. I didn't want to give them that stake at that valuation. But through conversation, so they realized very quickly, that they had some tax reason that they had to own 10%. Okay? Now, I didn't want to dilute 10%. Maybe I wanted to only dilute 7%. Now, and the valuation they were coming in was about 750 million, whatever. So, we split the deal. We said, okay, you put this money now at 750, but 1 year later, you put the balance to get it. And that 1 year valuation, by the way, we didn't write it as $1 billion, crossed $1 billion. So, it met my goal of saying, okay, chalo, it's a much higher valuation. I didn't know it'll cross $1 billion. It was based on revenue, EBITDA, multiple, etc. And that actually is when we became but it was, no, they had to put the money. So they got what they wanted, but we structured it in a way that made sense for us as the company also.
To dilute less.
Versus diluting it immediately. So instead of 10%, maybe overall we diluted maybe 8.5, whatever. So we diluted 10%, sorry, but instead of raising 100 million, maybe we end up raising 200 million. We got more money for the same dilution. They got what they wanted. We got what we wanted. Right. So that's but when we started, there came a point where we said, okay, maybe we're at an impasse because they want to put in a certain amount of money and get 10%. And we're like, no, that doesn't work for us. When we understood the interest better and they understood our interest better, we were able to get something that actually made sense. So that was one example of how we have done. But there are many, and the nuances will be, it's not going to be as dramatic. The nuances hai, sab mein. There are always nuances in all of the deals that we have done.